Hi, good morning. Today we are going to discuss one lemma 6.3.5. Last class we have discussed 6.3.3 and now we have to discuss 6.3.2 and for proving 6.3.3 and 6.3.4 we need this lemma. Okay, so listen carefully. Let a greater than or equal to 0. Okay, a be an operator, a greater than or equal to 0. Then there exists an operator x and it is unique such that x square equal to a and x greater than or equal to 0. This is the first part of the lemma. What is lemma? Once again, let a greater than or equal to 0, then there exists an operator x such that x square equal to a. What is the meaning of that? There exists an operator x such that x square equal to a. That means this equation has a solution x, which is our a. Okay. Well, if a greater than 0, then the equation x square equal to a has a solution. Okay, that means there exists an operator x such that x square equal to a and x is also greater than or equal to 0. Clear? That is x equal to, we denote x equal to root a. We write root a for x. Clear? Must note these are not numbers, these are operators. Okay. Moreover, for all b such that ab equal to ba, it is also true that root a b is equal to b root a. That means for all b such that ab equal to ba, it is true that what is root a? Root a is, we take root a is x, xb equal to bx. Okay. So moving to the proof, hope statement is clear. So what we have to prove? We want to find n x greater than or equal to 0 such that x square equal to a. The only condition given is a greater than or equal to 0 and we have to prove that there exists an x greater than or equal to 0 such that x square equal to a. A greater than or equal to, what is the meaning of that? A greater than or equal to 0. A greater than or equal to 0 means axx, the product ax greater than or equal to 0 and we know that if this is true then a is a symmetric operator. Okay, now we may assume that 0 less than or equal to a less than or equal to I. Already we have given a greater than or equal to 0 and we may assume that 0 less than or equal to a less than or equal to I. If a is not less than or equal to I, then what we can do, we will replace a by a1. So what is a1? A1 is a by norm of a. Okay, you can take norm of a by norm of a or a by norm of a plus 1. Okay, then clearly norm of this is less than, strictly less than 1. Okay, and here now if we replace we have inner product axx less than or equal to norm of a into norm of x square. That is now a1x into inner product a1xx equal to a norm of a xx. That is norm of a into inner product axx and this is less than or equal to inner product axx is less than or equal to norm of a into norm of x square. We can cancel it and norm of x square is inner product xx and this is ixx. So a1x inner product a1x x is less than or equal to inner product ixx. What is the meaning of that? This means a1 is less than or equal to I. Okay. So without loss of generality, we can assume that 0 less than or equal to a less than or equal to I. Clear? So we have to find x greater than or equal to 0 such that x square equal to a. So here we may, the first assumption is we may assume that 0 less than or equal to a less than or equal to I. Okay. So now let b equal to I minus a. A less than or equal to a less than or equal to I means by definition I minus a greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So here b greater than or equal to 0. And y equal to I minus x. Okay. Then what is a? A equal to I minus b and x equal to I minus y. Now what about inner product of bxx? B means I minus a. I minus inner product I minus axx. Ix minus axx. What is ix? This is a quantity obtained from ixx, subtracting a inner product axx from ixxx. Therefore, inner product of bxx is strictly or less than or equal to inner product of ixx. Once again, inner product bxx is obtained from inner product ixx obtained by subtracting inner product axx from inner product ixx. Okay. That means this quantity is clearly less than or equal to inner product ixx. Therefore, we get b less than or equal to I. Thus, we get 0 less than or equal to b less than or equal to I. Now, a less than or equal to I means we have this. Okay. So, b greater than or equal to I. By the this is clear from the definition itself. Okay. I minus a greater than or equal to 0. And we assume that b is here. There is no need to write like this. We can clearly say b greater than or equal to 0. So, we get 0 less than or equal to b less than or equal to I. Now, x square equal to a means if we take x equal to I minus y and a equal to I minus b, if this x and a satisfies the solution, what happens? So, x square is I minus y whole square, a is I minus b, and expanding, I square is I itself, we get this one, and adding and subtracting, we get y square. Okay. So, we have to solve this equation. Solving this equation is same as solving this equation. That is y equal to b plus y square by 2. So if there exists a y such that y equal to, you must note that if there exists a y such that y equal to y is equal to b plus y square by 2, then x is equal to 1 minus y is a solution of the equation x square equal to a. If there exists a y such that y equal to b plus y square by 2, then x is equal to y is a solution of the equation x square equal to a. Okay. Now the equation to be solved is y equal to b plus y square by 2, and we solve it by approximating its solution through the sequence yn defined inductively by yn plus 1 is equal to 1 by 2 b plus yn square and y not equal to 0. Once again, we solve it by approximating its solution through the sequence yn defined inductively by yn plus 1 is equal to this one and y not equal to 0. So what we are going to do is we are defining a sequence like this. Okay. And we approximate this solution of this equation as a limit of this sequence. Okay. So we are defining a sequence like this. Yn plus 1 is equal to 1 by 2 this one. And if this sequence converges, and we are taking limit of that sequence as a solution of this problem. Okay. So if you look at y1, what is y1? Y0 is 0. Y1 is 1 by 2b plus y0 square. Y0 is 0, so b plus 0. That is 1 by 2b. Now what is y2? 1 by 2b plus y1 square. Apply y1 square and we will get this. And this is a polynomial in me with non-negative coefficient. And again y3 equal to 1 by 2b plus y2 square. Again, clearly all these coefficients are positive and this is a polynomial in B. Okay. Clearly yn greater than or equal to 0. Okay. And yn is a polynomial in B with a non-negative coefficient for all n greater than or equal to n. Okay. Now we will prove yn less than or equal to I for every n. Okay, now we are going to prove yn less than or equal to I for every. So we prove this using induction. Clearly, what about y not equal to 0 less than or equal to I? Y1 equal to 1 by 2 b less than or equal to, this is b less than or equal to I by 2, which is less than or equal to I. Okay, because we have I by 2 x equal to 1 by 2 inner product of x that's equal to 1 by 2 norm of x square, which is less than or equal to norm of x square, which is equal to inner product x. That means inner product ixx. Therefore, I by 2 x is less than or equal to inner product ixx. That means I by 2 is less than or equal to I. Therefore, the result is true for n equal to 1. And we assume the result is true for n minus 1. That is y n minus 1 less than or equal to I. Now we are going to prove the result is true for n. So from this we have 0 less than or equal to y n minus 1 less than or equal to I. Now what about y n minus 1 square x x? And this is equal to y n minus 1 y n minus 1 x x. What is y? We have defined each yn. What is our yn? Yn is a polynomial in B. Okay. And what is B? B equal to I minus A. A is a symmetric operator. I minus A symmetric. B is symmetric. Therefore, Yn is also a symmetric operator. Okay. Therefore, Yn minus 1, Yn minus 1 x you can write as Yn minus 1 x again. In a product axy is equal to xay symmetric. Okay, so yn as yn minus 1 is symmetric, we can write like this. This is equal to norm of yn minus 1 x whole square, and this is less than or equal to norm of yn minus 1 into norm of x square, and which is less than or equal to norm of yn minus 1 is less than or equal to 1. Therefore, this is equal to norm of x square, and this is inner product xx, and that's equal to inner product ixx. So we get yn minus 1 square x is less than or equal to ixx. What is the meaning of that? Yn minus 1 square is less than or equal to I. Okay. So we have yn equal to 1 by 2 b plus yn minus square, and clearly this is less than or equal to 1 by 2 b less than or equal to I plus yn minus 1 square is less than or equal to I. We have one result, a less than or equal to b, then a plus c less than or equal to b plus c. So using the same formula, okay. We get this one, and this is less than or equal to I. We can use, okay, b less than or equal to I, plus you can add this. We have b less than or equal to I. Okay, so b plus yn minus 1 square is less than or equal to I plus yn minus 1 square. B plus yn minus 1 square less than or equal to I plus yn minus 1 square is again less than. So b plus yn minus 1 square is less than or equal to I plus I, and 1 by 2 if multiply this. Okay, so you can directly tell this. This implies yn is less than or equal to I. Thus, by induction, we get yn less than or equal to I for every n. Now, what is yn plus 1 minus yn? Now, we are going to prove yn plus 1 minus yn greater than or equal to 0. That means these are polynomials with non-negative coefficients of b. Okay. So, this is our aim. What is y1 minus y0 equal to 1 by 2b, which is greater than or equal to 0, because it is a polynomial in b with a non-negative coefficient greater than or equal to 0. Now assume yn minus 1 greater than or equal to 0 is a polynomial in b with a non-negative coefficients. Now we are going to prove yn plus 1 minus yn is greater than or equal to 0. What is yn plus 1 minus yn? Yn plus 1 is this one, yn is this one. Subtracting, we get this one. Okay, so we can write this as yn minus 1 minus yn minus 1 into yn plus yn minus 1, because this is yn square, and yn minus 1, this is minus yn minus 1 yn. Both are equal because these are polynomial in the same operator b. So we can write like this. Now yn plus yn minus 1 is also a polynomial with a non-negative coefficient, because yn is a polynomial with a non-negative coefficient yn minus 1. So if we add this, then yn plus yn minus 1 is also a polynomial with a non-negative coefficients. By assumption, we have yn minus 1 is a polynomial with a non-negative coefficients. That means each of these term is a polynomial with a non-negative coefficient. We are multiplying both. Therefore, yn plus 1 minus yn is a polynomial in b with a non-negative coefficient. Thus, we get yn minus n plus 1 minus yn greater than or equal to 0 for every n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Thus, we get yn less than or equal to yn plus 1 for every n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. That is 0 less than or equal to y1 less than or equal to y2 less than or etc. yn, and yn less than or equal to I, that we know. Okay, so thus we get the theorem statement like this: a not less than or equal to a1 less than an less than or equal to I, then there exists a strong limit of an. That means there exists an operator b and the anx converges to bx. Therefore, this sequence also have a strong limit. Okay, so that means there exists an operator b. For b, we are replacing this by y infinity. Okay, the notation is y infinity. That means there exists a y infinity such that ynx converges to y infinity x for all x belongs to h, like this. Okay, so ynx converges to y infinity x for every x belongs to h. That means yn converges to y infinity strongly. Okay, but we have yn plus 1 equal to this one, and yn converges to y strongly means this converges to 1 by 2 b plus y infinity square. Yn plus 1 moves to this one, but we have yn converges to y infinity strongly. Limit of the sequence is unique. Therefore, y infinity, yn plus 1 is converges to this one. Yn converges to infinity means yn plus 1 must also converges to y infinity. Limit unique means y infinity equal to 1 by 2 b plus y infinity square. So this limit y infinity also satisfies the equation y infinity equal to 1 by 2 b plus y infinity square. Therefore, x is equal to x is equal to I minus y infinity is a solution of x square equal to a, because I minus y is a solution of x square equal to. That means I minus y infinity square equal to a. That means I minus y infinity is equal to root a. Okay. Since 0 less than or equal to y infinity less than or equal to I, we get clearly what is I minus y infinity. Y infinity less than or equal to I, because yn is less than or equal to I. Okay. So that means I minus y infinity is greater than or equal to 0. That is x greater than or equal to 0. Thus we get x is a strong limit of polynomials of b, and it is also a polynomial of a since b equal to I minus a. Okay, from this we get there exists an x greater than or equal to 0 such that x square equal to a. Okay, that is what we have to prove. Once again, we will move to the statement. Let a greater than, there exists an operator x such that x square equal to a and x greater than or equal to 0. One more condition is there, it is unique. Okay, and the last one, we have to prove, moreover, for all b such that ab equal to ba, it is true that this one. Okay, root a into b equal to b into root a. We have to prove that also. So what we get? We get x is a strong limit of all polynomials of b. Okay, because x is y 1 I minus y infinity. What is y infinity? Y infinity is consists of all polynomials in b. Okay, so this is also a polynomial in b. So for all c such that ac equal to ca, what we can write, PAC equal to CPA for all C. Suppose P of A equal to, if you take any polynomial and P of A, suppose P of X is some x square plus 3x. Okay, so P of A is A square plus 3A. Now P of A into C, what is P of A into some C equal to A square plus 3A into C. That is a square c plus 3ac, and a square c is same as c a square plus c 3a, or this is c a square plus 3, or this is same as c into p. Okay, clear? Why we can write like this happens because AC is same as CA. So here A square C you can write as AO AC AO. This is same as C A. Once again, this 3AC you can replace as 3CA. Okay, so this is same as C3A. Now we have A square C and A of AC, and this is same as A of AC same as CA, and this is same as ACA, and this is same as AC same as CAA, and from this CA square. Okay, and we can write like this. Now, therefore, for any polynomial AC, we have AC equal to CA, we have P of A, C equal to C P of A. Okay, we have this result, which implies what is x? X is A square. X square is equal to A. Therefore, we can replace xc equal to cx. Okay. Now, actually what we have to prove, we have to prove for any b such that ab equal to, for any b such that ab equal to ba, it is true that root a b equal to b root a. Okay, therefore xb equal to bx. Hope it is clear. Now, uniqueness of x. That is, we have what we have to prove. We have to prove if x1 greater than or equal to such that x1 square equal to a, then x1 equal to x. Okay. Note that x1x equal to xx1. Why? We have this condition. For all b such that ab equal to ba, it is also true that root a b equal to b root a. That means if you take any, and that is we have xb equal to bx. For all b such that ab equal to ba, xb equal to bx. So x1a equal to x1 square, that's equal to x1 cube, that is x1 square x, that's equal to ax1. So here x1a equal to ax1. Okay. So for all b such that ab equal to ba, we have xb equal to bx. For all b such that ab equal to ba, we have xb equal to bx. So here we have x1a equal to ax1. That means a is replaced by x. That means once again you listen carefully. For all b such that ab equal to ba, we have xb equal to bx. For all b such that xb equal to, for all b such that ab equal to ba, we have xb equal to bx. So for all x1 such that x1a equal to ax1, but we have here for b we have x1. So x1 is equal to x1x. Therefore, we have x1x equal to xx1. Now, if y equal to x minus x1x, x minus x1 into x, in inner product of x y y plus inner product of x1 y is equal to x plus x1 y is x minus x1 x, that is this one, x square is a, x1 square is a 0 y. Okay, and these are positive terms and sum is equal to 0, means each term is 0. xyy equal to 0 and x1yy equal to 0, both the term are non-negative. This means xy equal to 0, x1y equal to 0. xy equal to 0 means x into x minus x1 x equal to 0, x square minus x x1 x equal to 0, and this whole x is equal to 0 for every x implies x square equal to xx1. Okay, x square equal to xx1. Now for every x we have norm of x minus x1 x whole square equal to inner product of this one, x minus x1 square x this one, and that's equal to x square 2x x1 plus this one, x x1 is x square. Okay, and finally s square x1 square minus x square x, and this is s square minus x square 0. That means norm of x minus x1 x whole square is equal to 0. This terms equal to 0 means x minus x1 x equal to 0 for every x belongs to h. That means x minus x1 equal to 0. This implies x is equal to x1. Thus we get there exists a unique x such that x is equal to there is a unique x such that x square equal to a and x greater than or equal to 0. Now moving to last part, one corollary. If a greater than or equal to 0, inner product axx equal to 0, then ax equal to 0. Inner product axx equal to 0, you can write as root a x equal to 0. And as this is symmetric operator, but we can write, because inner product axx equal to inner a greater than or equal to 0 means a is a symmetric operator. Therefore, root axx inner product root axx, sorry, inner product root ax. Okay, you can take this here, and this is equal to 0. That means norm of ax square equal to 0. That means root ax equal to 0. Now again operate with the root a, we get root a of x equal to 0. That means ax equal to 0. Okay, now we have to actually discuss corollary 6.3.4, 3.3 and 3.4. First we will discuss 6.3.4, then 6.3.3. That we will discuss in our next class. Okay.